All
Good to
right.
go.
Hey everyone, thank you for coming to our upcycling workshop. Today we are going to talk about some fun ways to reuse or recycle old t-shirts to reduce waste. If you're interested in other events like this, please follow the Office of Sustainability on Engage, formerly known as AppSync, to stay updated and make sure to tell your friends. Now I'm going to turn it over to Griffin for our first demo.
Hi. Hey guys, I'm Griffin. So I'm going to show you all how to turn a t-shirt, or any shirt, but we're talking about t-shirts today, into a fun dog toy, which you can see here. I made a prototype yesterday, and it's a little shabby because it's my first one, but I think with practice you could actually get really good. You could sort of hit a rhythm with these things. So what you want to do is, I've got a complete shirt right here. I think this is a large. You want to make your first small cut. You don't want to make it a big one. Let me see if I can get a good camera angle here. If not, I'll show you guys after I make the cut. Basically just cut once. Oops. There we go. Only about that deep into it, and that's right along the seam. And then you're going to want to go about 3 inches and do another cut of a similar length. And it's a fairly time-consuming process to make a full toy, so I'm not going to do a complete step-by-step here. I will explain how to do it. What you want to do is you want to just repeat that process until you have sort of these wide frills along the entire edge of the shirt, and then you want to do it on the other side as well. Once you have that done, you take the frill and you grip the 2 sides of it, and then you pull up to about the sleeve. And you don't want to cut, you definitely want to pull, because that is how you get it to be sort of tense and stretchy, which is what you want to go for if your dog's going to be chewing on it. And so you should end up with something that looks kind of like this, like a long cloth noodle of sorts. So you do that each time until you have, I ended up with about 14 of these. So once you have these, you set 2 of them aside, which you will need later, and then you want to, I usually grip between my knees and then sort of twist like this, just to get it tense. And it's okay if it unwinds a little, it's probably going to unwind some anyway. And then you tie a knot like that with a little bit of frill still at the end. And you repeat the process on the other side. And this is the stage where if you wanted to make something besides a dog toy, like say a headband or a bracelet, you could also do it. You wouldn't need a full shirt to do either of those. You'd need less material, obviously. But you could just take these and sort of braid them together and then tie them using the frills at the end to make a bracelet. But that's fairly simple. So I'm going to focus on the dog toy because it's a little more complicated. So once you have a bunch of these, again, using the shirt I had, I got about 12, and then the 2 that I didn't tie. You want to set them aside into a basic 3 pattern. So 3 groups of 4. In my case, it's okay if you have a different number. Then at the base, and I'm going to switch back over to the complete model, if you can see right here, on one end, I took one of my untied ones or unknotted ones and wrapped it around the base to bind them all together. And so then once I had that done and had it very tight, you want to probably double or triple knot this to make sure that they don't come apart, because again, your dog's going to be flinging this around all over the place if he likes it, which hopefully he does, he or she. And so you want it to be really durable. But so make sure it's secure and they're all tightly wound together. And then once they are, you have them in your 3 groups and you basically just weave them. And I actually had to look up how to weave because I've never like woven my hair or anything like that, but it's pretty simple. It's just a basic weave, like you can see right there, very simple pattern. And then once you have them weaved together, you repeat the process at the top. Again, make sure to tie it very tightly. And also, if they're uneven lengths, which is an issue I encountered, it's not a big problem. You just kind of yank them down, make sure it's tight. And yeah, then you should have a complete dog toy that will stand up to pressure, can be flung around, no issue. And yeah, you can also do a lot of fun things with t-shirts of different colors. I used white, but you could do fun patterns, and your dog might or might not appreciate that, but I think you could do some really fun visual designs with this. And yeah, that's a quick how-to for how to turn a t-shirt you don't want anymore into a fun toy for your pup.
Now for those who have more of plant babies instead of furry ones, I'll show you guys how to make a hanging planter out of a shirt. I'll just set it up so you can see it better. Alright. So you just take like your old community college shirt or any other shirt you don't want, or go check out the free store. We have some large shirts there as well. I already pre-cutted some just to save some time. But if it's a complete shirt, you just start cutting under the armpit, just once through, and then you do 8 little stripes. I did draw out the line just because I'm bad at cutting a straight line, but you can just freehand it as well. It should be about 2 inches, because when they stretch out, it does become skinnier. So let me just cut this real quick. Okay. Once you have your 8 little strips, you cut one side open, all of them, and then you stretch them out as well. Just both sides, just tug them. Since it is like a cotton shirt, it will stretch out quite nicely. And I already did the other 6, so you need 8 in total. And then you're just gonna even them out in the bottom and tie them all together. Got this. All right, you want to make sure they're even in the top, and then you tie it, maybe a little thick. Then you make sure you want to tug it nice and tight, and then you lay it out kind of like you're making like this huge friendship bracelet. You want to just pair out 2 together, and then the next 2. All right, so they're kind of paired off. And you want to make a knot on each pair, a couple inches above the big one you just made. That's right about here. Do that to all of them. You want to try to do the same height for the next one. Make sure it's nice and tight. Just repeat. Yeah, they're about the same height. And then the next step, it sounds more complicated, but trust me, it's not. Yeah, so you want to organize your 4 now clustered strings again. And then you're going to tie These are two clusters right here. So I'm going to tie the inside one with the inside of this cluster. So these two inside come together. You see you're going to make like kind of like a diamond shape, and you repeat that to each. So these go together, these go together, and so on. Okay. It's important to stay organized since it can get confusing. Just try to make it the same height as well, just for aesthetic reasons. If not, it's fine too. Makes it unique. You can see it. And then the last string goes back to the first one right over here. And actually, you're gonna repeat the process one layer higher. But since my planter is kind of small, this might do it. And you can kind of see it. And then you just put your plant in the opening right in there. I would do another second layer, but just for sake of time. This is kind of how the end will look like. In the top, you just put it all together, and then you can either use like a ring or that plastic ring from a larger milk jug, just to have something to grab on when you hook it on. Yeah, that's how you make a hanging planter.
Beautiful. I love it. Okay, so now we're going to learn how to make a scrunchie, like a scrunchie hair tie out of old fabric from a t-shirt, or I used this really nice jacket, which I completely destroyed. But so I cut the fabric from that jacket, and according to Martha Stewart, you need 22 inches by 3.5 inches. But I actually did half of that, just to make the scrunchie a little bit tighter, because this was a big scrunchie. And so then once you get your fabric, you're gonna fold it in half, hot dog style, like so. And then you have to like pin the sides together. Well, I'm not going to do all of them, but just this one. So kind of like that, so you know where to sew along. And then I use the sewing machine to just do like a line across the edge. So it turns out like this. But you could do it, you could sew it by hand. It just might take a lot longer. So I recommend a sewing machine. But so try your best to get a straight line. I was a little ambitious and realized that I'm not very good at that. But so once you have that sewed together, it's going to be like a little tube, and then you want to like turn it inside out so the seam kind of disappears, and you just like keep pulling it inside out until it looks like this. And then you're going to have this little tube without the seam showing. And I just used a rubber band because that's all I have here, but I would recommend like getting elastic from, like, if you find like a pair of old athletic shorts, you could get like some the elastic from inside of the like waistband, and like tear that apart to use as the elastic, I guess, or the tight part of the scrunchie. And then, so I'm just gonna use this rubber band, and you take a little safety pin and try your best to poke a hole through it, and then hide that. And then just kind of put the elastic or your rubber band into the little hole. You could also probably use like a hair tie as well, but that might be a little bit more difficult to weave through here. And then you pin the rubber band into the side. And then this is the hard part, trying to get the elastic from inside here to the other side. So give me 1 second. Okay. Almost there. It would be easier if you had elastic. But so once you pull it through, it'll be like this. And you can start scrunching it, scrunching the fabric together. And then you take out the little pin you had on this side and bring the other side of the rubber band through, and then unpin it. So now you have it unpinned, and then you can just tie like the two edges of the rubber band or the elastic together into a little knot somehow. This is also the hard part. Oh. Okay, so yeah, you tie it like that. And then you have to, now you just have like these two open ends, which you don't want. So you're gonna kind of like cuff the edges, if that makes sense. Like turn the edge of the fabric to the inside like that. And then do the same for the other side. So then you have, so it kind of looks like that. So like the edges aren't showing, and you just have like two sides of the fabric. And then I'm not gonna sew the whole thing, but what you would do is take like a little needle and thread, and you have to do this part by hand, and then just start sewing like these two edges together. I hope you can see well, like that. And then just continue weaving it through, just regular sewing here, like that. But you can do like smaller stitches because these are kind of big. But so if you take your time on this part, it should turn out pretty good, and it should be pretty seamless. And so once that's done and it's all sewn together, it should look something like this. The final product. Oh my goodness. And so you have a little scrunchie. And yeah.
That's so cool and pretty.
Thank you. And I was going to use like this kind of fabric from the other side of the jacket because it's like really silky. Would have also been nice, but I did not cut that straight. I was a little ambitious with this project. So, so this week was very humbling. Realized I am not a great sewer, but yes.
Hey everyone, I'm going to be doing a bleach tie-dye DIY, so you can use any dark colored shirt. In this case, I'm going to be using, let me flip my screen. I'm using a black shirt, but I've tried it with different colors and it came out all right. It just like gets light. So here I'm gonna do a spiral in the front of the shirt, and so you just pinch the middle and twist, and the tighter the spiral, the less tie-dye it will be. So you want more exposed fabric when you spray. And then from there you use rubber bands, and you're just going to put them around your shirt to give it a more or less folded shape. But really, tie-dye is so abstract that whatever style that you choose to do will work. All right. And then once you do that, you'll have your little shirt or socks or sheets or whatever, using a hoodie. You turn it really well on hoodies. You'll take your spray, which is 1 part water, 1 part bleach. So if you do like a cup of water, it'll be a cup of bleach. And then you just spray the parts of the shirt that you would like to bleach. And I'm doing this outside, that way you're not inhaling the fumes. You flip it over. And then you can see already that the black is bleaching. So the more you do it, the more intense the color is going to be. And then afterwards, you can just, I just throw it in the dryer with dryer sheets to get all the bleach out, and then I give it a wash by itself, or if I do other shirts. But yeah, that's it. Yeah. Thank you guys.
Very cool. I love it.
All right, well, thank you guys so much for watching our video about upcycling t-shirts. And again, if you want to watch or join more Zooms like this, please follow the Office of Sustainability on Engage, what used to be AppSync, and make sure you tell all your friends. Thank you for joining us today.